Thomas Becket, canonized as St. Thomas of Canterbury, stands as an emblematic figure in the annals of medieval English history, whose career, ecclesiastical authority, and ultimate martyrdom profoundly reshaped the interplay between church and state. Born on December 21, 1119, in London, Becket emerged from modest Norman origins to occupy one of the most pivotal religious offices in England. His complex and transformative relationship with King Henry II, culminating in his assassination in Canterbury Cathedral in 1170, has left an enduring legacy of moral resistance to political encroachment on ecclesiastical prerogatives. Let's examine Becket's life through the lens of his ascension, conflict with royal authority, and the enduring implications of his martyrdom. Early life and formative education. Thomas Becket's origins are rooted in the mercantile ambitions of his father, Gilbert, a prosperous London merchant of Norman descent, and his mother, Matilda, whose lineage afforded modest property ownership. Despite their socio-economic constraints, the Becket family prioritized intellectual cultivation, which facilitated Thomas's enrollment in London's ecclesiastical schools. Demonstrating an aptitude for rhetoric and intellectual rigor, Becket later pursued advanced studies in Paris. His exposure to scholastic traditions and ecclesiastical legal frameworks at Paris served as a crucible for his development into a formidable cleric and administrator. These formative years not only honed Becket's intellectual abilities but also imbued him with a deep understanding of the interplay between secular and ecclesiastical powers. Upon his return to England, Becket entered the service of Theobald of Bec, then Archbishop of Canterbury. Theobald's mentorship proved instrumental, granting Becket access to elite networks and opportunities to refine his expertise in canon law. Theobald recognized Becket's aptitude, dispatching him to study at Bologna and Auxerre, premier centers of ecclesiastical jurisprudence. These experiences fortified Becket's reputation as a skilled and versatile cleric, paving the way for his rapid ascent within the Church's administrative hierarchy. His growing expertise positioned him as a pivotal figure capable of navigating the complexities of church-state relations. Ascendancy to power and secular alliances. Becket's trajectory intersected decisively with secular power in 1154, when Archbishop Theobald recommended him to King Henry II for the office of Chancellor. As Chancellor, Becket wielded considerable authority over royal finances and legal administration, efficiently consolidating the crown's power while enjoying an intimate rapport with Henry II. His tenure was marked by administrative acuity and a penchant for extravagance that mirrored the grandeur of royal ambition. Becket's ability to manage complex political and financial systems made him indispensable to the king, fostering a bond that transcended mere professional collaboration. This period, characterized by mutual trust and camaraderie between Becket and the king, laid the groundwork for the later rupture that would reverberate throughout Christendom. In 1162, following Theobald's death, Henry II nominated Becket as Archbishop of Canterbury, likely envisioning his trusted confidant as a pliable ally who would subdue the Church's autonomy. However, Becket's elevation to the episcopate precipitated a dramatic transformation. Renouncing his opulent lifestyle, Becket embraced an austere existence, reorienting his priorities towards spiritual integrity and ecclesiastical independence. This metamorphosis initiated a conflict that epitomized the perennial struggle between temporal and spiritual jurisdictions. Becket's newfound role demanded a profound redefinition of his loyalties, pitting his spiritual convictions against his former allegiance to royal authority. The ecclesiastical royal confrontation. Becket's tenure as archbishop quickly became embroiled in the contentious debate over the constitutions of Clarendon in 1164. These legislative measures sought to curtail clerical privileges, including the autonomy of church courts and the unfettered exercise of papal authority in England. Initially acquiescing under duress, Becket soon recanted, asserting the supremacy of ecclesiastical law and rejecting royal interference. His stance, uncompromising and resolute, positioned him as a defender of canonical principles against the encroachments of secular governance. This defiance underscored the broader ideological clash between the emerging centralized monarchy and the enduring influence of the Church. The escalating confrontation forced Becket into exile in France, where he garnered the support of Pope Alexander III and sympathetic European monarchs. During his 6-year exile, Becket articulated a vision of ecclesiastical sovereignty that resonated across Christendom, consolidating his stature as a symbol of resistance. His correspondence with the papacy and influential figures across Europe reinforced his position as a defender of church autonomy. Despite protracted negotiations and intermittent reconciliatory overtures, Becket's return to England in 1170 was fraught with tension. His excommunication of royalist bishops exacerbated the king's ire, setting the stage for the fateful events that would follow. Martyrdom and canonization. On December 29, 1170, 4 knights, Reginald Fitzurse, Hugh de Morville, William de Tracy, and Richard le Breton, confronted Becket in Canterbury Cathedral. Acting on what they perceived to be an implicit royal mandate, the knights murdered Becket in a gruesome act of sacrilege at the altar. The shocking violence of this event reverberated across Europe, galvanizing widespread veneration of Becket as a martyr who had sacrificed his life to uphold the sanctity of the Church. The symbolism of his death underscored the inherent tensions between spiritual authority and temporal power, igniting widespread debates on the legitimacy of such conflicts. Becket's martyrdom elicited immediate repercussions for Henry II, who faced condemnation and was compelled to undertake public acts of penance, including a barefoot pilgrimage to Canterbury and a ritual flogging by monks. These gestures underscored the profound moral authority wielded by the Church in shaping political accountability. In 1173, Pope Alexander III canonized Becket, elevating him to sainthood. His tomb in Canterbury Cathedral became an epicenter of medieval pilgrimage, immortalized in Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales. The economic and spiritual significance of his shrine further entrenched his legacy in the medieval consciousness. Legacy, a clash of powers. Becket's legacy is inextricably linked to the enduring dialectic between ecclesiastical autonomy and secular authority. His defiance of royal encroachments reinforced the principle of clerical independence, a cornerstone of canon law that would resonate in subsequent centuries. Becket's martyrdom not only underscored the ethical imperatives of spiritual leadership but also illuminated the fragility of monarchic supremacy when confronted with moral conviction. His life and death embodied the complexities of navigating competing allegiances in a world where religious and political spheres were deeply intertwined. The shrine of St. Thomas Becket became a focal point of medieval religious life, attracting pilgrims who sought spiritual intercession and healing. However, the enduring prominence of his cult rendered it a target during the English Reformation. In 1538, under the aegis of Henry VIII, Becket's shrine was desecrated, and his legacy was denounced as emblematic of papal subversion. This act of destruction symbolized the shifting tides of religious and political authority in Tudor England. Despite these efforts, Becket's story endured, cementing his place as a symbol of resistance to authoritarianism. Cultural and intellectual reverberations. Beyond his historical and religious significance, Becket's life and martyrdom have inspired enduring cultural and intellectual engagement. T.S. Eliot's Murder in the Cathedral and Jean Anouilh's Becket dramatized the moral and existential dilemmas inherent in his defiance of royal power. These works illuminate the perennial tension between duty to conscience and allegiance to temporal authority, rendering Becket's story a timeless parable of ethical fortitude. Additionally, Becket's life has been the subject of scholarly inquiry, reflecting its relevance to broader discussions on the intersection of faith, politics, and societal structures. Thomas Becket occupies a singular place in the history of medieval Europe as a figure whose principled resistance to royal overreach redefined the boundaries of ecclesiastical authority. His transition from a royal confidant to an unwavering advocate for the Church epitomizes the complexities of power, loyalty, and spiritual conviction. Becket's martyrdom catalyzed profound transformations in the political and religious landscape of England, solidifying his legacy as a paragon of moral courage. Through his life and death, Becket exemplifies the enduring struggle to reconcile temporal power with spiritual integrity, a narrative that continues to resonate across the centuries. His enduring influence reflects the timeless challenge of balancing authority, faith, and justice in an ever-evolving societal framework. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe to Medieval Chronicles 1066 for more journeys back to the Middle Ages. Stay curious.
Christe, Abscusi